it's your girl Simply Bree, and I am one half of Single and the Coach with, of course, myself and Coach Ty. And today we are going to be showing an episode that was one of our top viewed, most commented videos ever. If you love him, do this instead of flowers. So grab your notepad, grab your pen, and most importantly, comment down below on what part of the video resonated for you. We'd love to know, and we'd love to continue to have these type of conversations. While you're looking at the video, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and tell a friend to tell a friend. Share this with someone that you feel needs to show men a little bit more love in your own special way. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this episode.
This is your girl, Ty the Matchmaker, coming here with another live with Simply Bree, who will be joining us very soon. We are here just to have another chat, another talk with y'all, all things love and relationship. So before we begin, our topic today is going to be the equivalence to flowers for men. So what is that? I found a really great video of this girl asking that very question. And so we're going to play that video and then we're going to talk about it on the other end.
You know, if a girl's having a bad day, you send her like, what would you get like a guy? If you are a guy, what would you want?
That's a really good question.
Yeah, so I love that question, especially jumping off from our last conversation 2 weeks ago on non-sexual things that men do that turn us ladies on. I think this is a great jump off, talking about what's equivalent to flowers, right? So we hear a romance and giving is always on the man to do to the women, which is nice, but it's always nice to have reciprocal, right? Yes. Men like to feel special too. And so it may look different. And so I think this is a great conversation just to kind of explore. So guys, let us know in the chat. Ladies, let us know what you've done or what you also think. So what I did was, I had to go into the chat after she posted that video because the chat is where it all happens. And some of them were hilarious, and we'll talk about those. And some of them were really just good advice, right? Good advice and just like guys really telling us what they like. So I'm going to read some and then we'll chat about it. Okay, so I will say overwhelmingly, the number one thing I saw was, what do you think?
Hot fluid.
Hot tour. Exactly. So that was like no surprise there. So, when all else fails, get to work. But there were other ones that I definitely want to talk about. So one person said, tell him you're proud of him. And I love that. I think that just in general, but we're talking about men, so I don't want to just focus on men. But in general, everybody likes to be appreciated. But in general, oftentimes men will say like they feel underappreciated or they don't get as much thank yous. Think about Mother's Day versus Father's Day, right? A lot of holidays, Valentine's Day, geared towards women. And so I think that's a great thing to keep in mind. Tell him you're proud of him. All right, let's do. Another guy said, I want flowers.
I'm for flowers.
This one is funny. Blue Dreams, Sour Diesel, Northern Lights. Familiar with all the names, but listen, if you have a smoker in your life, someone who likes to take the edge off, I think, well, I'll say for myself, at least I hope that the stigma of smoking and weed and edibles are kind of taken off now that, we got weed shops and all that stuff. So it's more of a social and recreational thing. And so they're not cheap. So,
those some expensive flowers right there, boy.
Exactly, some expensive flowers. So if your man likes to unwind, get him some blue flowers, Blue Dreams. He said Sour Diesel.
Sour Diesel
I am familiar with. The other ones I don't know. So those type of flowers for men, some of them would like. All right, let's look another comment. Another comment said, this is from a woman. She said, pay for his haircut or buy him lunch. My husband loves that. So another sweet gesture, you know, the old saying, the way to a man's heart is through his stomach. So you could also cook or buy him lunch. Men like to get lunch too. Maybe just not just dropping $30 in his Cash App so he can buy lunch, but actually just sending a DoorDash or Uber Eats to his house. That might be nice, right? And pay for his haircut. Listen, haircuts
some things
are
is not cheap.
You have a son. How much do they go for?
Honey, there's one of his barbers that he used to is the key word. He charges $100, and that's without a beard. What? If you want beard treatment too, you're looking at like $150. Wow. But that's just him. The average is about, you're gonna pay at least $50 for a haircut.
Oh, wow.
Okay. That might just be a shape up.
Right. All right. So you're looking anywhere between $50 and $100. So again, that I looked at that as, we like to sent money to get our nails done. You know
our hair.
Sometimes when he needs a haircut, maybe he just, would like to be sent to get his haircut. So that might be something you might want to give to your boo. And also want to highlight, I'm talking about this for like a random day, right? Yeah. Not like it's his birthday, not a special occasion, just like a random, like, you know what?
You're not having a good day.
Yeah, you're not having a good day. Or like, I see you worked hard this week. Those are the kind of things I'm talking about. All right, so pay for his haircut, buy him some lunch. Another gentleman said, which I found interesting, and I kind of like this. He said, why not send flowers? He said, we only receive flowers at our funeral. And so some men, again, you know your man, you know who you're with. If he does like flowers, why not send him flowers? So I thought that was very interesting. All right. Another commenter said, honestly, get him anything. This is a male, I'm assuming. He said, honestly, get him anything. We rarely get gifts. Mm-hmm. So again, going back to, if you know your person, you know what he likes. It could be something small like flowers. It could be candles. Just the mere fact you're thinking of them will make them feel special, right? So that's a great point. Another one said in a sandwich. Now, again, going back to food, this is a theme, right? Food. Make him a sandwich. If he's just there, I know there's the stigma, the women making man a sandwich, go in the kitchen to make me a sandwich. But like, what if he really just wants a sandwich? It doesn't have to be anything sexist or of that type. But like, if he's hungry and there's nothing to eat, and there's meat in the go make a sandwich.
Let me add to that one. Yeah. And those who get it will get it. You can make him a sandwich, or you can make him a sandwich.
There you go. Exactly. All right. So another user said, these are themes that I'm seeing. Another user said, say I appreciate you. Men rarely ever hear this. 2, grab him his favorite snack. Again, food. And 3, ask, I know things are tough. Is there anything I can do for you? Just that simple question. He'll probably say no, but just the asking of it, right? I think that's just, So definitely a great, great comment there. All right, the next one. Now, this one is funny. This commenter said, Tua, of course, a sandwich in silence. I find that hilarious. The silence part, listen, if you, again, depending on the person you're dealing with, some people like to be in silence if they're having a certain day, or if they work in a field where they're always talking, making the decisions, hearing noise, and coming home. And if you see he don't want to talk today,
that's it.
Give him that space and give him some silence, right? And a sandwich, apparently. All right, let's see what else. Some wings, again. Food.
We are more foodies. I am realizing this.
Yes, some food. So if you don't know how to cook, then buy it.
That's
or
a
do
problem,
something.
Honey.
Yeah, you should learn how to cook, ladies. The way to a man's heart is through his stomach. It's an old saying, but it's a true saying. All right. Let me see. Excuse me. What else? Okay. This person got into it. Okay, let's talk about this. An actual apology. Accountability, food, money, and peace. All right, sir. So accountability accountability actually came up a couple of times in the
Yeah.
comments. And that's something I've heard in my, in my work when I talk to men, that women don't take accountability and women don't apologize. And so, everything is anecdotal, right? It's not all some da da da. But if you heard that about yourself, ladies, like you don't take accountability, you're not apologizing, maybe that's something you should be aware of and maybe work on that. So accountability. Let me see. Apology, another. So, ladies, it's hard sometimes. I'm sorry. It's okay. One person said back rub. I think that's also really nice. Peace and quiet. Quiet is another theme. Some food.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
So in your experience, just being a woman, being in relationships, what have you done personally to show your appreciation for a man, regardless of whether it's for a holiday or just because? What are some things that you have personally done?
Yeah, I like little things. So I've done the food, cook him his favorite meal on a random day. So I had this one relationship where he's an artist, musician, and I know that his favorite musician way back when, I don't remember the person's name, but I remember I was at a flea market and I saw this guy selling old school, old time records. And I was like, oh, let me just ask them if they happen to have this artist. And it wasn't his birthday. It wasn't, anything. And they happened to have that artist. And in a record form, and it was like vintage, So shoot, it was a record and money because he probably could sell it. It was vintage, it was valuable, and so and it wasn't that much because there was a flea market, they were selling it, and I was just like, it just happened. So I remember things about him and something random that he told me randomly. And then when I saw it, I was like, hey, that's such a cool thing for someone who is an artist, is like a person he loved. It's a vintage records. People don't get records anymore. And as artists, musicians, that's something that's meaningful to them. And so I think that that's something I've done. Back rubs I've done. I think those are really nice. Those are,
You're so flowers. There was something, it was the way that they worded the hug to her. They said a mouth hug.
I know that is, I like that.
Very creative.
Yes, a mouth hug. A mouth hug is always tried and true. When in doubt, food and a mouth hug. When in doubt. I think what's underrated is quiet, because I feel like for me, that's something like that's harder for me unless you're specifically asking of me, because I'm such a chatterbox, and day is home, I want to talk about my day, so just like being emotionally intelligent, like, oh, you're having a bad day, I'm gonna leave you alone, make you a sandwich and go in the other room.
That's it. And that's all that they want. I've come to learn that men are really not complicated as much as we think, or they may come off to be at times. When you look at the list in the comments from that video, you realize that it's the smaller things that they want. They're not saying buy me a car, buy me jewelry, take me shopping. They're not
we
saying
do that.
all that.
We ask that.
Right. They want the small things. They want the time. They want the quietness, the silence. They want to be able to indulge in something that they honestly love without being interrupted. And I think that sometimes people feel like in order to show someone that you appreciate them, you have to also be with them. No. Sometimes that alone time to do your own thing is all that they really want. Hence, the last comment that I seen that was in the chat was not talking while the game is on, bringing food and walking off. That's all they want. They're not that complicated.
Not that complicated at all. And I think that also talks about like love languages, right? It's
Yeah.
like that means if I'm having a bad day, that those things are not what I want. I want different things, right? But
Right.
learning someone and then actually implementing it. It's not like giving people what they ask for, not what you want to give them. So there's that difference too. Let me see if there's any more. There's more flowers. And then I really love this appreciation, telling
Hmm.
them. I feel like that's something I can practice more.
Yeah.
If I'm honest, just saying it like, I really
Hmm.
appreciate you. Thank you for that, you know? So definitely say that. Well, this one person had like a list: lunch, haircut, gift card, a playlist, anything simple,
I seen that one.
simple, anything simple that makes his day easier,
Yeah.
or tells him you are thinking of them. He said, "We rarely receive just because gifts, so he'll appreciate anything." And I do love that simplicity of like anything, just
Yeah.
just saying it, is really cool. So I thought that was such a great conversation. I'd love to hear what you all would add to that list, or if there's anything you want to double tap on it, let us
Hmm.
know. But I really love this conversation, just to again show love to each other,
Right.
as men and women here. So
And the interesting thing is that they mention accountability, women taking
mm,
accountability. What
let's
does
talk about that.
accountability look like? Because sometimes I feel like if you're not used to someone actually holding themselves accountable, you don't know what it looks like. You don't know what to look for. So, is it something just as simple as, if we're having a disagreement, acknowledging the fact that, okay, this isn't a you're right, I'm wrong, you're right type of thing. It's just, we're coming from two totally different angles. And if I've said something to offend you, I apologize. Is it
Mm-hmm.
something like that? Or do you have to go more into it with behaviors and tokens of appreciation to show, hey, I'm being accountable? Like, what does
Yeah.
it look like? Because we hear it
And
a lot.
yeah, and what I've heard, is, if don't we talk a lot about gaslighting. I hear a lot of men say that women are emotionally manipulative, right?
Mhm.
So if he says like, hey, you did this thing and that pissed me off, and then you start crying, man, you're yelling at me. It's like, okay. Right? like
Oh,
like like you just now shift it to you,
yes.
and now you're not accountable. Now I gotta apologize. And so doing that, just being like, okay, actively listening to what someone is saying. If they're saying, hey, you did this thing, or called you out on something
Mhm.
you try to get away with, and just saying, okay, I'm sorry. Yes, I did try to do this. I did try to manipulate it this way because I wanted my way, X, Y, and Z, right? So
Right.
just being honest and taking accountability for whatever you're called out on, and apologizing, right?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. I apologize, right?
Right.
Like, and that's hard for some people. So if you're not used to taking accountability for things, or it's hard for you to apologize, that's something you'll just need to practice.
I to add into that too, especially when you're dating or you're in a relationship with someone, you have to understand that ego should not really be in the room. Like, this is your
Mhm.
partner. Like, this should be a safe haven for the both of you. Like, I should not be ruffling my feathers and, charging at you, or what's the word? Challenging you in a sense as far as authority. Who's stronger than the other? Who has more power than the other? We're both in this relationship together. I am
Right,
not your enemy. And I think when people realize that in a relationship, then it's easier to take accountability when there are disagreements. Sometimes it's just a disagreement. It's not
right.
the end of the world. Like I said, it's not a who's right and who's wrong. Like, let's just identify what it is, what's happening right now.
And
And I think,
validate each other's feelings, right? Because
yes.
men do have feelings too. And if he said that, like,
Yeah.
that annoyed me, or that hurt me when you did this, or you said that, you're like, well, I didn't mean it that way.
That's interesting. I love it though. I love it. Like the apologies.
Yeah.
And ladies, listen. As much as the men say hot tour, the kitty cat can't be the solution for every argument. There are just some situations where it's just like, you know what, you really hurt me, and I need you to understand that. Makeup sex is not going to fix every single thing, because what's going to happen is every time you get into a disagreement or argument, you're going to result to that. And how meaningful is that really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Guys, comment. I need to know. I could be
Yes.
wrong, but I feel like the
Yes.
kitty cat, the kitty cat ain't gonna fix everything. Okay, sometimes you gotta have that conversation. I'm sorry and mean it.
Yeah.
Say I'm sorry, mean it, and put behavior behind it. Work hard so that you're not doing the same thing that you just apologized for. Like, show that you truly are sincere and that you were not meaning to do that. You got to put effort.
Yeah, I love the saying that goes, the best apology is changed behavior.
Yeah,
So
it's important. So, of course, you guys, if you are tuning in for the first time, this is the Matchmaking with Coach Ty and Simply Bree. Ty, I know a lot of people, especially in our culture, we don't really be doing a lot of matchmaking. We're like, that's not for us. Like, we just go and jump on the app and scroll. What is matchmaking?
yeah, that's a good question. So matchmaking, exactly what it sounds like. So the way matchmaking works, it's an old form of bringing people together for the purposes usually of marriage. So matchmaking started years ago, started in Asia, and then made its way to different the Jewish community uses matchmaking. Back in the days, that was a coveted profession. And so what matchmakers do is back in the days, it was all about class, right? To keep the money flowing within the class system that you're in. Today's matchmaking is really used to bring people together for the purposes of dating. So what matchmaker does is if you hire a matchmaker, they come, they talk to you, and they learn about everything that you want. Now, we're not genies. We can't get you. It's not build a man or build a woman, right? But what we do is we are the middleman between you and your forever partner, if that's what you're looking for. And so a matchmaker comes in, they learn about your dating habits, they learn about what you want. They talk to you about like your pros, your cons, and this is the person that you're like talking to. Once they receive and basically put a profile in their head, that's what I do, of the person that could be a really good match. So it's half intuitive, which is just a natural given gift, and then half of it is algorithm. And when I say algorithm, I mean, like, if you don't like a smoker, I'm not gonna get you a smoker. If you don't, like when you're on the app, you have your preferences, certain preferences you can filter, right? So, and then the other half of it, like I said, is intuitive. So the matchmaker part, the apps is the algorithm, the matchmaker is the human intuitive part. Both together come as a matchmaker. When you hire a matchmaker, we talk to you, we learn all about what you want, what you don't want, and then we just go out there, and we are that middle person that does the legwork for you, going out there, seeing, meeting people, talking to them, making sure that, hey, is this a good person that even want you to go meet for coffee? And so that's what we do. It's a real matchmaking, in a sense, I always say, is an investment in your dating life. When you've been out there, you've been on the app, swiping, doing it all, you have another person out there outside of you doing the legwork, helping and supporting and bringing that person to you. So you'll go on a couple of dates, then you'll come back, tell the matchmaker, yes, no, what you like, what you didn't like, and then they'll send you on another day. How about this person? Yes, no, et cetera, until you find that perfect match. So that's just a quick overview on what matchmaking is and what we do.
Okay. Now, who would be your ideal client? Like, what type of person is it that should hire a matchmaker?
Yeah, so I say anyone who is intentionally dating, anyone who is looking to go from dating to serious partnership to marriage. If you've been out there for a while, you're just kind of like, all right, I need some help. I need some
Yeah.
help. And you've done the apps and all of that. And I say you still do the apps, just because you hire a matchmaker doesn't mean you stop going on the apps. But if you want to add another strategy to finding that person, right? So if you're looking for something serious, if you want to invest in your dating life, really kind of buckle it down a little bit, because you are paying for someone's time to go and do the legwork for you. I specifically work with Black and Brown communities within the ages of 35 to about 50. So I work with a more mature crowd. A lot of my clients they are either divorced, or maybe they're not divorced and just 40 and never been married, divorced, and ready to go back out there. Let me see, what else are they? And so those are the kind of people that I work with. Another thing that I ask of my clients, whoever I work with, is that they have done the work on themselves. So, we do an intake, a consultation, and talk, and I can know through the conversation, like, what work you've done on yourself. Are you serious? Again, it's all about, like, if you're serious about what you're looking for. And so I'm ready to work with people who are just, like, really looking for love and honest and true about it.
Okay. So it's interesting because when I think of matchmaker, I think of a headhunter. When you're going for a role, you want a particular job. And so they do the legwork for you, and you just, you have that conversation with them. You outline what it is, what's your goals as far as compensation, benefits, sign-on bonuses, stuff like that. So it's like the same thing.
100%. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm sure a lot of folks out there, especially in our community, a lot of folks want to know, is it expensive? Because if you see millionaire matchmaker and all of that stuff, you automatically assume, oh, this is not in my tax bracket. Is it expensive?
It can be, depending on the matchmaker.
And we're not talking about y'all good Aunt Jackie. We love Aunt Jackie. Jackie, I love you, boo. But we're not talking about the aunt hookup, okay?
No,
where they know someone who knows someone.
Exactly. No, this is someone who has had some time either in the dating field, etc. So you want that, because you want someone who isn't just like a therapist. Like, you don't want someone who knows everything about you, who has, like, preconceived. Like, you want someone who is, like, completely neutral, where you can be completely honest, tell them exactly what you want, and what you don't want, and that person can go outside of, whatever you've been doing.
But what would you say the success rate is with working with a matchmaker versus just getting on the dating apps yourself?
Being accessible to you, easy to use on your phone. But now dating apps have become a battle of who's the top 1% looking, right? Or it's become so superficial that people are just swiping left, swiping right. I also do coaching, work with people on their dating app profiles, and you can see the men it really makes some men, not all men, it really makes them feel like they're ordering Uber Eats or of some sort, right? Very low effort, very little conversation. Usually it takes a long time for you to book the date. So those frustrations have not changed. They've only gotten worse, it looks like, with dating apps versus a matching person. So like I said, matchmaking, I would say, have a higher success rate because they've been around longer. They started in whatever BC, right? I think that's what matchmaking also has done in communities, like I mentioned before. It started in Asia, and then we have the community that do those arranged marriages, right? Then the Jewish community have a really big matchmaking in their community. So what that does is it keeps the bloodline, it keeps the money within the community, right? And so the community just grows. And I think what's really cool with a lot of Black matchmakers, what's cool about them, especially those who who match Black people in the Black community is good. We get to keep, the money when you come together, two incomes coming together. Black people elevate, go from this class to a higher income class. Together we grow, right? What that saying is, you can go by yourself, or you can go together fast, or whatever. I'm just what that's saying. But you know that proverb. Yeah. So I would say, matchmaking has had a better success rate just because they've been around longer.
Yeah. Okay. Well, how can people find out more information if they are interested in getting in touch with you, as you are the matchmaker?
Yeah, so you can reach me on all platforms, Ty the Matchmaker, on Instagram as well as TikTok. And if you want to learn more about my matchmaking, you want to have a consultation with me, you can go to mylitm.com/get-match. It's okay. Just go on my website. Go on my Instagram. You'll see the link, and you can click on the link. You can get on my database, and it's free to get on the database. You fill out the form, and if I have a match for you, I'll give you a call. If any of my clients are a good match for you, I'll reach out to you. And then if you want to learn more and just maybe talk to me one-on-one and talk more about what I can do for you, or maybe you want to be a client, you can set up a 30-minute free consultation with me also on my website. So you could go to Ty the Matchmaker on Instagram, click on the link that's on my Instagram bio, and then navigate from there, get a 30-minute consultation, get on the database, free to get on, and hopefully I can help you find love, especially in 2026. Let's get it.
Hello. Because why not bring in the New Year's with a good, solid beginning foundation? I love it. Well, you guys, thank you so much for kicking it with us. You can find me across social media at I Am Simply Bree. Check out my website, iamsimplybree.com, to see what else I got going on. And we will be back in another 2 weeks. So every other week we are here. Subscribe to He Said What Network and catch more on the show, this show, other shows. And if you are interested, of course, in being matched, definitely get with Ty, because she got you guys. All right. So until next time, and do not forget, drop your comments down below on the ideas that you have for flowers for men. Men, we ain't forgot about you. Drop it down below. All right, you guys have a great day, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.